Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Debate Hub. We are here, and we are weird, and whatever the hell we're doing. I'm Chesh, the host and runner of Lay Channel and herding of said cats. That is my job. That is what I'm here for. No, no, don't you start already. Oh, God, what have I done? So, here, good.
I was scratching the, yeah, anyway, sorry.
Oh, here we go. Today I've got Dapper, I've got Maanyaa, I've got Landon. Welcome, guys. It's good to see you. I'm going to go through brief introductions. We'll start with Landon, then we'll start with Dapper, then we'll go to Maanyaa, then we'll go to Landon. Pegajace, the Darwin mythicist for 10 said, "Brave Sir Donnie bravely ran away. When Dapper reared his dapper head, he bravely turned his tail and fled. Yes, brave Sir Donnie turned about, and gallantly he chickened out." Yes. There has been a little bit of this is a news show, but I do feel like some of the stuff that we get into kind of count a little bit as news. You guys feel fair about that? I think that seems fair. So if Dapper has personal news he wants to share about Donnie, he can.
Sure. I'll do that as part of my intro.
Yeah. Do it.
So first, I'm Dapper Dinosaur. You might know of me. I think everyone in chat currently is someone I've seen before, so you probably all do know about me. I have a channel, Dapper Dinosaur. I have a second channel, Top Hats Off, where Maanyaa and Landon were yesterday. So that's cool. So recently, Craig, FTFE, who's also been on this channel, and including with me, we actually had a debate against each other, so that was fun. He reached out to me because he had received an offer to debate on another channel, and he wanted me to be his debate partner because it was going to be a 2v2. Which, cool, that's great. I like Craig. I'll debate with Craig. And it was going to be against chaos. Yeah. It was going to be against Donnie Badinsky, Donnie Deals, of the Standing for Truth channel, and some person named Sam Church, who I don't know anything about. But that's fine. I have always said that, yeah, I'm willing to debate Donnie, as long as it's not on Donnie's channel or Modern Day Debate. So it was neither of those things. So, yeah, absolutely. Turns out, Donnie refused to debate if I'm there. And then tried to go behind Craig's back to select Craig only knew about one person he went behind, who he tried to get as Craig's debate partner behind Craig's back. Turns out that was not the only person. He tried to get Culture Cats, and Craig was like, "No, you don't get to choose my debate partner. I choose my debate partner.
Yeah,
if you don't
what the fuck?
my debate partner, then we can do a one-on-one, or we just don't debate. Those are the options." Yeah, so eventually, the owner of the channel, which is Sarah the Raging Tomato, so Sarah, was just like, you know what? Donnie's too much drama. He's blacklisted. So now, not only did Donnie lose that debate, he's lost the potential for any other debate on that platform. So Sarah no longer wants him on, period. At least according to Craig. I haven't looked at those emails because they weren't to me, but that is my understanding. So then, Grayson Hawk, who is one of the less... Not non-public, but he's one of the less publicly active of the science friends, but he's a very active in the background. He messaged Donnie to say, hey, what was up with that? So Donnie made a long list of excuses, none of which make a damn lick of sense, and then said to Grayson that he did not want that audio to go up on YouTube. So I put it into a YouTube video, a 4-hour-long YouTube video, which is currently live on my channel, that includes not just this saga, but years worth of receipts of Donnie and his associates being racist, sexic, homophobic, transphobic, threatening violence, lying.
What?
That's not nice.
All the receipts are
there.
He's
a real piece of trash.
Oh yeah, so if you have 4 hours to do a deep dive into just what a piece of shit Donnie Badinsky of Windsor is, go for it. And me saying he's from Windsor isn't doxing, because that's still on his publicly available Donnie Deals the Used Car Salesman Facebook profile.
Well, there's more than one Windsor, too.
Well, this one's Windsor, Ontario, Canada.
So, officially, Dapper 1, Donnie 0, and the only place he's got left to go that he might even have a chance is here.
Actually, I did say in the video, I've signed off with Donnie, if you're listening to this, which I know you are, come debate me on debate hub. We're 1-0 now, but hey, maybe you could bring it up to 1-1. And then I also said, and finally, Donnie, go fuck yourself, you little bitch. And then I played a super clip of him being cringy as a used car salesman. That's how the video went.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on your win, Dapper. If you would like to issue another challenge, I am more than happy. Unless he starts doing Nazi propaganda, he can come on over and he can get slammed into the ground. Maanyaa!
I will say this, I have not seen him do that so far. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so far. Maanyaa, who are you? What up with you? Welcome.
Hi, I am Maanyaa. I have a channel called Maanyaa. I don't stream there. I'm usually on Chesh's channel all the time and on Debate Hub all the time. And when I get petty, I rip people's shit apart. So that's what I do. And so yeah, it's don't piss me off. Don't say non-factual things, and you'll be fine. If you make me petty, I'll rip your shit apart. I'll be nice about it. Let me tell you, I'm nice about it because I make notes now.
You're fair. You're fair.
Your academic criticism, I think, I wouldn't call it petty. I would call it fair. And
she did it because she was petty. I
snuck that in there.
And yeah, so you can see me around doing a lot of stuff. I started reviewing academic papers. I take apart people's rhetoric. I also play D&D from time to time on Top Hats Off. So yeah, I'm sprinkled all around, and you can get a dose of goodness of me anywhere you look. So hey.
If you're interested in Maanyaa's academic... Sorry, don't mind them. If you're interested in Maanyaa's academic reviews, there's a video series that has been coming out, one video a week, where she's been academically working through a philosophical paper. She has another one or two that she's already done, and some that she's working on, and those will release on this channel. So definitely check out the videos. We don't just do streaming here. There's lots of videos coming out and a lot of stuff. If you're a member, you might have early access to all those already. If you're on Patreon, you've also already got early access to those. So thanks, and check it out. Landon, what's going on with you?
Hi, hello, I'm Landon Curtin-Knoll. I am the co-founder of the International Obfuscated Seed Code Contest, which is in its 41st year, the longest contest running on the internet. And we're about ready to release our winners for IOCC 29 that will occur on June 6th at 11 Pacific. So that's a thing. I also, involved in astronomy, was just reviewing a paper about P1 and P2 stars and globular clusters. There are two odd populations where the P2 stars are contaminated by stuff from other stars that have long since gone boom, and we're puzzled as to how that material got into the P2 type stars within globular clusters. Globular clusters are really nice beehives, and so there. And I do other things. There is has it been released yet, Chesh, the Jupiter?
It is unlisted right now, so if you're a member, you have access to it. If you're on Patreon, you have access to it. I am really, really very curious on people's feedback, and I really want to get people's questions. So check that out when you get a chance. That just uploaded and was made available today. So some people have access to it. It's not publicly available yet because I wanted to talk to you about potential Q&A scheduling before I made it all the way public, but that will be soon.
Sure. But you can become a member and get previews of that. And of course, hi to April. If you say that you have to have the appropriate number of Ys, because it's important to greet her with, or him, or it, or them. Because that could be more than one person behind that handle. You never know. But yes, lots of Ys.
Fantastic. I'm looking forward. There are links to people down below, and the links for everything we're covering today is also linked already.
We do the volcano stuff with
volcanoes. That show is so cool. That show is so fun.
Yeah.
Shall we dive into today's topics?
Is there any news to cover?
Is there some news? Has some stuff happened globally?
No, nothing ever happens.
Orange juice, Campari.
This week, nothing happened.
Dry vermouth, and barrel-aged gin.
That is a lot of things. I'm not sure how that tastes together.
They're probably good. All right, I'm going to start off with a big old fucking I told you guys so. That's what I'm starting with today. Big old fucking I called this shit. because I brought this up to chat about in the community tab. So check out the community tabs. There's discussions that go on there, and I ask you guys like debate level style questions about what you're interested in. And I asked recently, can you hold people legally accountable when they're politicians for lying to the public? And people were like, well, maybe, maybe not. I mean, it'd be cool if you could, but I don't think it's possible. How do you define lying? Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, bitch! Fucking Wales becomes the first country to enact rules for firing politicians for lying.
Which country is that again, sorry?
Wales.
Wales, nice.
It's the one with the big red dragon, which according to creationist logic means that Wales currently has dragons in it, because you can't draw anything that you didn't see right now in your current life.
Well, I mean, that is the lore. That is the lore behind the dragon, right? Is that there are dragons in Wales. They sleep under castles.
Oh, okay.
Do you like that shit? Congratulations to Wales.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to going through this law a little bit on my own time
Man,
or
I
on
want
a
to
stream.
move to Wales now.
Right? Isn't that cool? That's so cool. But this
Like
happened because earlier
Wales,
in
the only country with a higher per capita number of sheep than Australia.
But there was this that happened earlier.
Too, by the way.
Oh yeah. This happened earlier in the year. Catastrophic day for Welsh Labour from May 9th, 2026. So, incumbent First Minister, I'm not going to try and pretend I know how to pronounce anybody's names, lost her seat in the 2026 election, making her the first head of the government in UK history to lose her seat whilst in post. Following her defeat, Miss Morgan announced she is standing down as the leader of Welsh Labour. It comes as Welsh Labour secured just 9 seats overall. She said, quote, Welsh Labour has today suffered a catastrophic result. It ends a century of Labour winning in Wales, and the party will need to take a really hard look at itself and understand the depth of the challenges that we face. Like, bro, what an L to take.
I mean, I think one of the things that Labour in the former United Kingdom has a big problem with is trying to communicate with the public what they're doing, right? There, of course, it doesn't help with the fact that people like Murdoch and the Tory press and the Tory rags are spewing kinds of stuff, but Labour seems to be very poor at communicating things that they've done, and they've done some significant things. It's just that the public is not learning about it, and now of course there's other unique problems in Wales as well, and it is a sort of a sad thing that Labour seems to be unable to communicate well with the public, and so the public essentially gets tired of it.
Well, how are you going to have a government that's supposed to be for the people, by the people, not knowing what the hell they're doing? Like, what's going on, guys?
But this is even more so that they're really poor at social media. Labour Party in general, and they are. They have they're pitiful amounts of communication. They are doing it traditionally, but people are no longer on traditional media sources, and so they don't own the narrative. And when they do something important, it kind of gets lost in the thing. Meanwhile, you have essentially fascists like Farage getting all kinds of airtime. And he is very good at using media and getting his name out, sadly.
Yeah, which is no good. Nobody likes that guy. That guy sucks. Or too many people like that guy. I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
It can be both.
So what do you guys think?
So
Do you think the law about lying is gonna get people like Farage in trouble? Because maybe his party members in Wales?
Well, there is one thing, which is I think it's going to be very, very difficult to demonstrate that someone lied. Now, I haven't read into this law, so I don't know all the text, and I'm not a lawyer, but generally speaking, if by lie they mean what I normally mean when I say that someone is lying, that means they have to know that someone intentionally told a false truth or a non-truth in order to influence people in some way, which means you can't be mistaken, you can't be misremembering, and that's one of the problems with crimes that are mostly thought crimes, right? It's one of the reasons why things like like grape without the G are hard to prove because it involves mental states that don't leave physical evidence. Like, what does the evidence of consent look like? Well, it's a mental state that you had or didn't have. It doesn't leave behind lots of evidence. So we have to use proxy evidence. And I think will be a similar case where it's like, because it seems like it would depend on the state of mind of the politician, it'll be tough. But then again, I would love to see a politician fired for lying.
Yeah, I think that's great. In my opinion, now, I'm not a lawyer, so, take it for what you will, but the way I was presenting the idea is the same way you would do perjury, right? Perjury is like when you're speaking to the public as a politician, in your capacity as a politician, and you're addressing the public, whether it's on the campaign trail or whether it's on, like, you're doing an address of some kind, or you're doing a Q&A, whatever it is, a debate, whatever it is you're doing, you should be held to the same standards that you would be under a court of law. Be like, if you are purposefully misleading the judge, so you wouldn't necessarily have, it's the same thing as like doing things like actual malice. You don't actually have to be malicious in your intention. Actual malice is something different, like something along those lines, presumably. And there are already rules for what that looks like and definitions.
If you look at, for example, Westminster Parliament, you're not allowed to mislead the House, or and so the House of Commons. And you can actually be sanctioned severely if you do so. But what's misleading is a complicated thing, because there's a difference between that and a difference of interpretation. And so it really becomes, one of the tricky parts about it is who judges this to be the case. Now, what's supposed to happen is if you stand up in House of Commons and make a statement that you later on learn is not true, then you're supposed to go back at the earliest opportunity and correct the record. And that's fine. It's when you don't. And Boris Johnson was really notorious for this, of just out and out lying. And what happened was that the House of Commons convicted him of being a liar. And he's one of the people now you can say Boris Johnson's a liar because the House of Commons in a vote determined that was the case. Because normally you're not allowed to accuse someone of lying. You can't say, no, you're lying. You actually have to go and have an inquiry and then force them to try to correct the record. But again, this type of thing is quite tricky. By the way, I put a link in our chat description, but gotcha. I would shout out to a show called A Different Bias, and a gentleman who puts out lots of contents, but basically about what's going on in the British government, and he's got some very interesting takes on it. He also, because people like Agent Orange and idiots who are here impact what they're doing, they will not that kind of orange, the other kind of orange. Agent Orange will because it impacts things like the like trade and so forth. They'll also do a bunch of things about what's going on during war and so forth. But I would highly recommend subscribing to this person. He's a former teacher who also used to do math and other science things, now as a commentator, and his commentary has got lots of factual data in it, and I highly recommend it. So,
to be clear, I would also
shout out to A Different Bias.
I would like to point out as well that I don't think any of us are saying that proving that somebody is lying ought to be easy. It shouldn't be. It should be a difficult, and it should be a little bit of an arduous process, because you shouldn't be able to just willy-nilly say somebody says something you don't like, and you're like, well, or that you disagree with, and it's like, oh no, actually that person's lying because I told them something different, or because I found this obscure Google link that shows something different. Like, that would be absurd. But like lying about climate change, or lying about they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, is a really good example that Letty put in the chat. Yeah. Like that is straight up a fucking lie, and there isn't like anything out of nowhere. And so like something like that should be actionable. And
yes, and consider Chesh, what you said about that notion that Somali immigrants are eating dogs and cats was something that either Agent Orange knew was a lie, or was willing to because one of his problems apparently is that if he says something several times, it becomes true to him, right? And so he basically repeated that statement enough that it, in his mind, became true. But we know that's not the case. But there's no body to come back and force a person to recant. Whereas if you were in House of Commons and you made that sort of statement, if you were Prime Minister and made that sort of statement, then there'd be objections, inquiry, and you would be compelled to come back and correct the record to not mislead the House.
It also
that
might
doesn't happen.
It might enforce, or it might enable or incentivize politicians to be a little bit more concerned about AI, because if the AI is misleading people by making news articles and stuff like that, it might mislead them, which could get them into trouble, because there would be a degree of responsibility for knowing that what you're saying is actually accurate. So it might, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, you mean checking your sources? Where they're coming from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's also like in terms of what's happening with climate, there's a range of people discussing matters on it. And you don't want to have a situation where your statements are not as radical as someone else likes, and therefore they accuse you of lying, right? You want to be able to have a debate over topics, but you want to be held accountable for what you say. And one of them, maybe that what you have to do is to have a body being willing to go and say, you've misled the body, correct the record, or
Yep.
And also, I
think volunteer to be the body.
Also, there's a difference between factual claims and opinions, so you gotta be careful around that. And also, I think so. Dapper and Chesh and all of you were saying that there should be a proof of intent too around it, and correction pathway. There should be an opportunity presented to the person and say, listen, we'll give you an opportunity to correct yourself. Would you like to correct yourself? Right?
Yeah.
And so, and if you want penalties, you all got to start thinking about how proportionate our penalties are going to be. What's the proportion?
So Nigel Farage received $5 million from one of those crypto people who, as I may have mentioned, cryptocurrency is a scam, and he's one of the people in I believe in Thailand who's been, he's a British citizen, been dumping all kinds of money. And so Nigel Farage literally was saying, I'm not going to stand for a seat in Parliament. This guy gave him $5 million. He tried to say it was a personal gift, and then he said, no, it's for personal security. And then he said there are other sort of excuses. And apparently now he said that I think it was the Guardian that basically broke the story about him receiving some more money, again from people in this sort of apparently slush fund. And he made a big thing. He said, well, would you believe, basically he said, I've been hacked by Russian agents, thinking that would give him off the hook. But now you have a situation where essentially people said, well, wait a minute, wait. If Russian agents you are now a member of Parliament, Russian agents are breaking into members' phones, that's a matter of national security, national importance. And he's now opened that can of worms up. He hasn't said this in the Commons, so the Commons can't hold into account. But he may be able to get into problems because he's claimed now that it was Russian agents hacking him into how the Guardian found out the story. Not that the story is false, but that the Russian agents did it. The wheels are running off of his wagon. And so what happened was that when he announced this thing of hey, Russian agents, my phone, that's how the Guardian got this story. Then people said, okay, you should report this to police. You report this to national security, because now it's not just simply a matter of them doing other things. And so now, and he said, well, no, just that you don't need to do that. And so the Labour Party said, well, we'll do it for you. We'll report the fact that Russia claims of this stuff, and you have to now there's an official inquiry. And he's saying, no, this is just the deep state trying to do. He's
trying to defend himself into legal problems.
Stay tuned. And by the way, if you look at a different bias, you'll have little couple minute segment shows on him. He's quite a character.
actually glad that I'm a little glad that when people started lying and just throwing shit out nilly-willy just to please the commons or the citizens who felt like ostracized, right? People who don't follow the science or just feel ostracized for some reason because they don't feel in control anymore. And these politicians just started throwing out like bullshit, got things like Brexit done and everything based on that bullshit. And now what's happening is their opposition is now learning to use the tools that they have in their hand, the laws, the constitution, the tools, everything that is there to debunk it. So it's like, that's why I'm glad that, because they're not evolving. People who lie, they're not evolving. They're going with the same lies. But the people who are countering them, they are evolving, and they're like, we will get you, and we will find a way to get you, and we will evolve, and we will use the tools we have at hand to do that. And I'm actually glad that that's happening. And we need to start evolving and need to start looking more into constitutional-wise what tools we have to hold such people accountable. Not like, argue with them, but to take them along the path of accountability and say, like they said, listen, this is a serious issue. We are on your side. If you're getting hacked and all this is happening to you, we want to find out, because it can happen to our side too. So I
say, no, we don't need to debate. We don't need to look into this. So
he cannot. So he cannot go to the people now who is trying to help him and say like that they have ulterior motives or anything like that, or even try and circumvent the argument by or pivot around it by by straw manning, right? He created this issue and now he has to deal with it, and people are like, we will help you deal with it, let's do this, and he's like, uh-oh. So I'm actually glad that this new evolution is happening.
Yeah. So subscribe to Nerd Bias and follow the story among many things he's covering. So anyway, but who knows? Maanyaa, can you imagine somebody saying false things on social media and being held accountable? I mean, is that
what? Whoa! What do people just go on the internet and lie?
Restraining orders? You mean, oh my God, their channel's getting banned in US? No.
That would never happen.
That would never happen. Nobody could possibly be this. Anyway, people being that fucking stupid. Next up on our list of fucking bullshit here.
Chesh, your mom says you're wearing a very sexy shirt.
I added. You want to see it? You want to see my fancy shirt? Look at my fancy shirt. It's like a little fancy crop top. Look, isn't it cute?
Ooh.
I don't get to wear this.
Very nice.
I don't.
And by the way, hi Chesh's mom.
Hi Chesh's mom.
Hi Global Mom.
I don't get to wear this shirt very often because it's really light, and so like there's like 90% of the year that I can't wear it because I live in Canada. 90% of the year. It's fucking cold, dude.
Unfit for human habitation.
Yeah, it is.
Fucking chilly. All right. Okay. So people being that fucking dumb. So Tulsi Gabbard resigned.
Oh no.
Oh, what a shame. Very sad. I know. Very sad. This is
Trump
updates. Trump updates.
It's true that some people do resign, because for family matters, and it's quite possible that is the case. But on the other hand, I think she is smelling. I think she's seeing a bunch of rats fleeing the ship, and could try to.
And a lot of them
herself.
happen to be women, because Trump's a sexist and he's firing the women.
Yes.
Oh, you mean Pam Bondi? You mean that lady?
Who has cancer now? Who has cancer?
Oh. Fuck cancer. Fuck Pam Bondi.
Yeah, she cites her husband's health, and people don't believe her. Or don't care. Like, they think that she's full of shit, or don't fucking give a shit about whether or not her husband is sick or whatever. They just want her gone, and they're happy to see her gone, I think.
But that's okay, because they could apply for Medicaid. Yeah. They could apply for Medicaid and get government assistance for all that support for medical people.
Tulsi Gabbard resigned as President Donald Trump's Director of National Intelligence on Friday. This is an article from May 22nd, so this is relatively new. saying she needed to leave office as her husband battles cancer. She is the 4th cabinet member to depart during Trump's second term, all of them women. In her resignation letter she posted on social media, Gabbard said she told Trump she would leave her job overseeing the coordination of 18 intelligence agencies on June 30th. She said her husband had recently been diagnosed with a rare form of bone cancer and, quote, faces major challenges in the coming weeks and months. Quote, at this time, I must step away from public service to be by his side and fully support him through this battle, she wrote in the letter, which was reported earlier by Fox News. So the thing about this is like that classic, like, trad wife thing where it's like, all right, well, something's going on with your husband, you have to drop everything that you're doing.
Hey, it's quite possible husband does have this bone cancer, and if so, I wish him, well. I have not seen, Tulsi Gabbard's husband involved in any political thing. It seems to be a person on the side. So, that's. I hope that worked out well for him.
Braun.
Yeah. On the other hand, I don't know. I have no idea about him and their relationship.
Look, there's an old German saying that what do you call it when two people sit down to dinner with a Nazi? And the answer is 3 Nazis.
Yeah, it's one of those things where
Nazi. 2 Nazis.
Yeah.
Fuck him.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, cancer sucks, but nobody cares about you, the individual, because you're an awful piece of shit, independent of whatever else is going on in your life.
Yeah, for some reason I don't look, I don't wish ill necessarily on this guy. I just don't care, because in order to be married to Tulsi Gabbard, there's got to be something wrong with you there, and something that's wrong in a ethically dubious way, because you're married to the woman who is in charge, or was in charge, of the intelligence agencies of a fascist regime. There's not a whole lot of coming back from.
Yeah, I mean, I have no sympathy for her. That's not.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Dapper, or what Landon is getting at just the fact that there are actually people who are legitimate people, who are good people, that are actually doing a public service, that are actually trying to do their fucking job by the law, who might have the same reasoning that Tulsi Gabbard is espousing in this article. It's just that nobody cares because it's Tulsi Gabbard and fuck her in particular.
Landon is a much nicer, kinder, gentler person than I am.
Well, at least in public.
A lot of damage, in my opinion, national security, and her, she should have been fired for cause. That doesn't mean that her husband needs to have cancer. And if she wants to use this as an excuse, however, don't come back in 4 years and say, well, I left and I wasn't really part of the stuff. No, Ms. Gabbard, you should stay away from public office and just fade in the background. You don't get to come back and say, now my husband, got cured, or maybe get a new husband, I don't know, and think you can rehabilitate yourself. No.
Throw a party with J.D. Vance like Charlie Kirk's wife.
Also, she's not cool enough to pull off the Rogue from X-Men look, so stop it.
Yeah, stop that. Cease that. Cease and desist that immediately. This is sacrilege, this is heresy, and I hate it. On the other hand, though, also, do you think she's going to try, or do you think people are going to try and defend her when shit comes crumbling down? I wasn't there because I was gone taking care of my husband who's definitely sick.
Look, I actually do think her husband's sick. I don't think that's all. It would be a hard
line. Yeah, sure. Yeah. I'm just not willing to believe anything on the face value of whatever they're saying.
She has done a lot of things in the past that... Go on, please.
No, you go ahead.
She has done a lot of things in the past that she can still be criticized for. And if we go back in history, and if we examine what she has done, she can still be held accountable for it. Like, her thing in Syria with Bashar al-Assad, who was accused of atrocities. She went and met him. Russia and Ukraine comments, where he echoed the Russian talking points, and then the narrative that she spread around the Ukraine biolabs thing, and then the thing around Snowden. There's so much. And again, her lack of experience in the job that she was doing. She has no background in deep intelligence. and she was given this job and she took it, right? She's a fucking opportunist. Like, yeah, sorry for her husband, but not sorry for her. Fuck her. So
she doesn't get to use.
And she's also anti-LGBTQ community. So fuck her.
And she doesn't get to use her sick husband as an excuse. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all this is.
You guys are much nicer than I am, because I'm still in the position where, like, Ava Braun doesn't get a pass because she wasn't the guy, and neither does Tulsi Gabbard's husband, because he's not the woman in charge. He's married to her. He's providing her support. Look, if I marry someone,
valid,
and then it turns out that she goes and joins a fascist regime, I'm filing for divorce.
Yeah, no, same. Yeah, you have valid. These are grounds for divorce. I'm waiting. You know what there needs to be? There needs to be Tulsi Gabbard's husband. Am I the asshole? Reddit post. Relationship advice.
We have seen like women divorce their spouses, or the other way around, when they realize that they're MAGA, or they have voted for Trump. They have like children who have cut off their families, like their parents or the elders in their family, because they voted for Trump. So why not her husband? I guess the medical benefits are too good, I guess.
So it's the thing with cutting off family members is, I'm not telling people that they need to do it, especially if it's, like family that you didn't choose, right?
It's a
like
personal decision. Yeah.
Right. But you have to remember, if someone has voted directly to harm innocent people, which everyone who voted for Trump this time around did, because that was his explicit promise, was to hurt people, that is not a safe person to be around, period. Because they have shown that they do not have any concern for the well-being of others. And why the hell you think that doesn't include you is beyond me. So if you have family members like this, I'm not telling you to cut off contact, but I am telling you, watch out, be wary, don't trust them.
You will be
They have shown that they are willing to harm people for no reason other than it makes them feel better.
Preach. All right, next up.
She has a whole bunch of stuff, by the way. You can look at stuff about the damage.
Yeah, I just listed a few.
Pre-trust stuff. She is a piece of work, and this is a sad thing, because Agent Orange, as president, likes to appoint people who are incompetent but loyal, and then basically they can stay in public office. But she is a really everything. I hope she leaves public office and leaves government service, never to return again.
Or comes back. Yeah.
I'm firing Maanyaa for using a goddamn lapel mic, forgetting she's using a lapel mic, and then crimpling to fucking back once she's off camera.
Sorry.
All right.
Look who's talking, miss. My keyboard is actually a herd of elephants.
Oh, right. But I've tried. I have switched keyboards. I have moved my microphone to the other side of the desk. I try to mute anytime I am doing anything. I do my best. This bitch is doing it on purpose.
I needed my chocolate, please.
By the way, Gabbard, one of the things she pushed in Hawaii was to amend the Constitution to give lawmakers the power to reverse, the right to marry whoever you want to. And
what a bitch.
She then apologized for anti-gay advocacy, and then she introduced Protect Women in Sports Act and did a whole bunch of other stuff. She's a really, and of course she's had a lot of problems with working on the whole Iran nuclear things and the threats. She's done a lot of damage.
She has no experience.
It might be a good idea. It might be a good idea for us, Dapper, to maybe have a discussion on the show. Not this show, but like another show that we can schedule out that is just about interpersonal relationships when the people in your life are absolute pieces of fucking garbage.
Yeah, although I think we should also have someone alongside who has more direct experience, because I've been
somebody more professional,
in that, more professional. I've been fairly fortunate also with my my family in terms of that. So like, I don't want to speak from sort of the privilege of having a family that isn't absolutely insane and out to kill people.
Yeah. I think that there are. Yeah, we can reach out to a couple people and have a panel discussion, but I think that's something we should look into doing. I think that'd be a good idea.
Which I have to point out, I'm extra lucky because my family was evangelical Christians growing up, which are the number one demographic who you would think would be all in on shoving people into
in the United
concentration
States
camps
too,
and murdering people in the streets. Yeah, and yet my family isn't, and I do not take that for granted.
Chesh isn't Chesh if her keyboard isn't as loud as an airplane. All right. Next topic. This is still all Trump related. We're in our Trump segment, so we got a couple of things. Virginia Supreme Court. It's not all bad news. Don't be sad. Virginia Supreme Court throws out restricted referendum results.
Redistricting. But
What did I say?
This is bad.
What the fuck did I say?
You said restricting.
Oh, redistricting referendum results.
Redistricting.
This is from May 8th. So, yeah. Really quick. What is this bullshit? The Virginia Supreme Court overturned the results of the state's redistricting referendum, which voters narrowly approved last month. Why it matters. The 4-3 ruling upends one of the most closely watched redistricting fights. It's hard to say.
Yeah, it is.
Well, the referendum was unconstitutional. The big picture, the Friday decision says the amendment process pushed by Democrats violated the state constitution, effectively blocking the efforts to redraw congressional maps mid-decade. That's after the state spent $5.2 million to pay for the special election, and outside groups raised nearly $100 million to sway voters. The new map would have been in effect for the November midterms and was expected to shift the state's congressional split from 6-5, favoring Democrats 10-1. Between the lines, it is a move Democrats said would have countered Republican red states that redraw districts to add GOP seats in closely divided U.S. House. Republicans who have repeatedly sued to block the redistricting vote have called it extreme, illegal, and hyper-partisan. A central part of the case during oral arguments concerned what qualifies as the next general election under Virginia's constitution. Virginia law requires amendments to move through 2 General Assembly sessions, one before the House has election last November and one after. Republicans have argued that lawmakers have improperly advanced the amendment after early voting for the 2025 House elections had already begun. Meanwhile, Democrats have said that an election is a single day in November. What they're saying, siding with Republicans, the High Court ruled that Virginia general election included the early voting period, not just election day. That violation incurably taints the referendum and invalidates the vote per the ruling. The other side is that Virginia House Speaker Don Scott, a Democrat, said in a statement, quote, "We respect the decision of the Supreme Court of Virginia, but Attorney General Jay Jones blasted the ruling as politically motivated, accusing the court of putting politics over the rule of law and silencing the voices of Virginia voters. Jones says his office is reviewing every legal pathway forward. The state Supreme Court overturning voters' decisions is rare. Where did I go? I lost my spot. Supreme Court overturning is rare, but it happens at least once in 1958. Per Cardinal News, the High Court ruled that Arlington residents had voted on unconstitutional law in 1956 and had struck down the election results. There's a thing on my screen that needs to go away. Go away. You're in my way. Get out of here. The intrigue. If Democrats appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court, it wouldn't be the first time Virginia election disputes have landed there. In 2024, former Attorney General Jason, however you say that last name, won last-minute Supreme Court ruling allowing Virginia to resume its voter purge program days before an election. So Virginia Democrats signaled on Friday that they plan to appeal the ruling to the U.S. Supreme Court. What do you guys think?
Yeah, the Supreme Court is not going to uphold the election. They're going to strike it down. Because
it's so funny that Republicans are so happy with gerrymandering, but as soon as like the Democrats come up with a counter, they just like no, this is unconstitutional, blah 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 blah, and this is where it matters like who are sitting in the seats of Supreme Court, because it kind of shows like, okay, at this point, they're very, very eager to hold up the Constitution, or whether, the voters did get their right to speak or not. But when the other side, Republicans, do it, are they really, consistent with the standards or not? And that's why, these nominations and everything are so important. That's what I had to say. It's a hypocrisy. And also it's like Democrats have to become better at this. Like you wanted to come with a counter, you gotta be better at this. You just can't expect like you have to dot every I and cross every T and not rush through it. So this is what Democrats' problem has always been. They think because they are the good guys, they'll get whatever they want, and it's not going to happen that way. No. You have to
believing you're right is not necessarily a good argument at all.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like you gotta dot your I's and cross your T's. You just can't like just be like, oh yeah, here, take it because we are the good guys. You should be okay with it, right? No. The other side has been doing this forever, and they will be like, fuck no, and they don't care whether there's any consistency or not. Nope, they're not gonna care, and you should evolve now to counter that. But I don't know what the fuck is going on with the Democratic Party in USA. It's just so stupid.
Oh, they're a combination of incompetent, uncaring, and collaborators. That's what's going on with the Democratic Party.
Yeah,
that's not
I think they're the good
every last
guys.
one of them. But yeah, most of them are incompetent. A large portion of them are collaborators, and among those are also many who just don't care. It's a pretty big problem. The U.S. only nominally has an opposition party.
Yeah, it feels like that. It does feel like that. I think that's one of the biggest factors in disenfranchising voters is that people don't feel like the Democratic Party matters at all. And are people wrong?
Well, so they're likely to win this next time. But like, if you look at polls, the Democratic Party is one of the least popular institutions in the United States. The GOP is less popular, and SCOTUS is even less popular, if I remember correctly. But like, the number of people who actively like the Democrats is horrifically low. But the Democrats don't care because as long as they're more popular than the Republicans, they still get elected. So they don't have to be popular. They don't have to care. They don't have to actually stop collaborating with fascists. They can just keep doing those things. And as long as they're just a bit better than the Republicans, then people will vote for them.
I think they have to start realizing that's not going to work anymore because there are people who are actively choosing not to vote because they're not getting a better choice.
I mean, there were a lot of people like that last election.
Yeah.
There were a lot of
that's
people
what I'm saying. Like Democrats, fucking wake up, guys.
Yeah. I mean, there was also a really big contingent that was like, the Democrats can't take a stand on genocide in Gaza. They can't get anything done about guns. They can't get anything done about like increased services for people. So why should I reward them? And I mean, the obvious answer is because it might prevent the fascist takeover of the United States. Which
that's all they have been doing all this time. Oh, that's the worst choice. You want to go for the worst choice? Okay.
Yeah, but in a lot
Orange
of cases,
Man Bad is not an argument.
Voting for a Democrat feels like voting for slow fascism as opposed to voting for a Republican, which feels like voting for fast fascism. And like, that's not a choice that's going to galvanize people. And I think that there's a chance for younger Democrats to come in, and if they can, like get the entrenched old guard out, if they can primary them, then there might actually be a shot because there are some younger Democrats who do actually have a message that isn't just, hey, we're slightly less shitty than the other guys.
Yeah, there's an interesting question in the chat that I think could also be like a debate or a bigger panel discussion. It's I wonder how America can dismantle their two-party system. And it's going to take at least social revolution. And I'm not saying revolution like guns and stuff. I'm talking about like civil rights movement type thing. Where, there's going to be some violence, but that's not like the goal. You know what I mean?
Very specifically, it would probably require some constitutional amendments to how elections are done. And I don't necessarily mean federal constitutional amendments, but I mean like state level. Because one of the problems is that America, like with an alarming degree of regularity, has considered first past the post voting to be the only legitimate form of voting. and also has decided that rather than having any kind of apportionment like many parliamentary systems have, where like you're not representing a particular location, but people are voting and then seats in parliament are apportioned based on the percentage of votes that each party got. Rather than doing those things, which make it that makes it very hard to have a two-party system. America just says the person who gets the most votes, regardless of whether or not it's a majority, gets the whatever representation is apportioned to this place that the people are voting in. And that's basically a death knell for any kind of multi-party system. So there are a few ways, though. You could do a ranked choice voting system where you get a few different votes, right? And so you get like a number one choice, and maybe that guy gets 5 votes.
I like how I said this needs to be a panel discussion, and you're just going to explain it anyway.
Okay, never mind. Ranked choice could help, apportionment could help, but those would require vast changes to the American political system. So there are ways to do it, but like, I don't expect it to happen in the lifetime of anyone sitting here.
I'm gonna live forever, and you're already millions of years old. I don't know what you're talking about. My unfinished journal for 2 said, "Hail debate pub, hail Maanyaa academic unit." Maanyaa's academic unit. Let's go. Congratulations. Thank you very much. All right. I'm sorry, Dapper. I'm just giving you a hard time, and 2, we need to move on to the next one.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I love you and love what you have to say, and you matter. Anyway, the Trump administration is deleting government data from infant deaths to hunger, and here are 5 ways it's hurting Americans. I don't think we need the explanation as to why, how it's hurting Americans. I think we all know that that's a thing, but like the fact that it's like that the Trump administration is deleting government data is the main topic thing here. And I think, Landon, you want to take the lead on this one?
This one being the business about the so deleting government data is one of the things that fascists like to do, which is if you've got information that is counter to your narrative, then you delete the information, then you deny that there's anything there. This is a very common play that, for example, the Chinese Communist Party does in terms of if something is inconvenient, delete the reference to it and then claim it never happens. Now, in this particular case, the thing is that the government has to keep statistics about what's going on in the United States and publishes reports so that lawmakers have a chance to apportion funds on a budget where things are needed. And basically it says, well, this doesn't seem to be this doesn't run counter to these America First type people where everything is good. And so they'd like to essentially not only deny the data, but then go back and remove the previously stored data. Now, people have copied that data. The thing that's going to impact it is that there won't be the continuous set, and the currently collected stuff is going to be tainted. And then when people come back to talk about it, the people deny, saying, "Well, no, that's not official. That's just opinion." But the sad bit is that this is a thing that authoritarians do. I mean, we saw in Canada when Harper found weather records to be inconvenient, ordered the destruction of lots of historical weather records in Canada, and then said, "See, there's no climate problems in Canada because you just deleted all the things." Now, fortunately, there's some people who were able to make copies of it. But now you have this pieced together records that's been sort of destroyed in its foundation.
Counterpoint: if climate change happens enough, maybe Canada will become minimally habitable.
No, that's not. Okay, yes, but also no. So this. There's this thing called the Canadian Shield, which makes it really hard to build shit. My unfinished sock for 2. Don't change topics, like and share the stream instead. But yeah, as you can see by the article, which, thank you very much, greatly appreciated. But yeah, also like and share and subscribe and all that good shit.
Nice
as you
sock,
can see in
by
this,
the way.
So, isn't that a cute sock? I like him. He's got a little orange bow tie.
It was great.
As you can see exactly what Landon was saying in this article, this information was used to understand the problems Americans face. The consequences of its erasure, experts warn, could affect generations to come. Well, yeah, because the Trump administration wants to pretend that it's doing things that it's not doing and lying about data and numbers and whatever the data. If they delete the scientific data, people aren't going to be able to counter it easily. And like you said with communist China, for example, if people don't have access to the information, the only information they're ever getting is from like the quote-unquote swamp. And same with Harper, right? Harper has that authoritarian lilt to him, and Canada rejected him. And then when his diet version showed up, when Pierre Poilievre, Canada panned him in totality and still is. And so, like, it's just not what, like, it's fuck. Fuck it. All right, next topic. This is bullshit. Trump's name must come off of the Kennedy Center judge rules.
So I can't speak.
Yay.
God dang it.
Monty had things to say. Too late. We moved on. Trump's name must come off.
Come on.
I wondered what.
Can I
what
say
Monty
just
was
one
gonna
little
say.
line? One little line before we move on. It's just about what Trump is doing is that what this is enabling them to do is they're going to say them now, okay, yeah, because there are no infant like deaths due to hunger, we can reduce SNAP benefits or totally take them out, right?
Yeah.
And also, the Guardian also reported that there was an EPA's risk management program research. This is part of my job profile, right? It was a risk management program tool which used to like help people check whether they live near hazardous chemical facilities, and that's been taken offline. So the danger the government is putting people in is enormous. It's enormous, and I would like people to go out there, please find these tools where you can. If you can copy them some way, or reestablish them some way, please do it, because this is getting out of hand now, and it's causing a lot of problems. That's my thing.
Monty, out of curiosity, is it more or less dangerous than keeping a Halon fire extinguisher in your house?
All right, so next topic. President Trump's name must come off from the Kennedy Center judge rules. This is updated as of May 29th. A federal judge says a federal judge has blocked President Trump from adding his name to the Kennedy Center, saying that the Washington, D.C. Arts Complex was named for the late President John F. Kennedy. In a ruling on Friday, the judge also temporarily blocked the administration from closing the Kennedy Center for a planned 2-year renovation that was slated to begin in July. So you know they were going to make it like gaudy and gold and ugly as fuck, right?
Yeah.
Like that. We knew that was what was going to happen to it. They were going to Trumpify it. They were going to spray it with fucking gold glitter and fucking... U.S. District Court Judge Christopher Cooper wrote in his ruling, quote, that the Kennedy Center's organic statute makes crystal clear that the center is to be named for President Kennedy, and it cannot bear any other formal name or public memorial based on the board's unilaterally say-so. Unilateral say-so, sorry.
It's unilateral, yeah.
Unilateral say-so. Congress gave the Kennedy Center its name, and only Congress can change it, end quote. Good. Yeah. Fuck this guy.
Yeah,
and
it's
his stupid putting his name on everything.
They will appeal this. Did you know that's been appealed, or what's happening with the...
As of right now, I don't know. This article is specifically from the 29th, and it's the 30th, so it's only been a day. They'll probably move to appeal it, but as far as I know, I don't know yet.
But chances are that the appeal...
It's really interesting. Go on, sorry.
Chances are the appeal will, the order will remain in force during an appeal process, and unless this gets to the Supreme Court, which I honestly don't think the Supreme Court will take this up, chances are that I think the ruling will stand, because basically everyone who's looked at this has said, yeah, this is definitely illegal, and the question is just, is anyone going to actually bother to get a court to recognize that the illegality? That's it. That's all I had.
Yeah, fair enough. That wasn't a terribly long topic. It was just something that I wanted to say fuck Donald Trump about.
Yeah, it's like
no, you
at
do.
least the Supreme Court came in. The Supreme Court came in this instance and said, like, you cannot just like take away powers from the Congress. That's unconstitutional, right? It was the same with the Iran war. I don't know how they circumvented based on any technicality. Just by saying because
They
it's not a
didn't.
war doesn't mean
They
it's
just
not a
did
war.
it. They just did it. They
Yeah,
didn't circumvent
and
anything. They didn't even bother.
And that's my question. How are you going to hold a president accountable if he just doesn't even go to the Congress and doesn't follow the Constitution? How?
They're not going to. They're not going
Exactly.
to. They don't
They're
want
not.
to.
Yep.
Yeah. They're doing. He's doing
Oh,
what he want or they want him to do. So why would they hold him accountable? Just because it's illegal, it's still what they want him to do. They want the crimes.
I like what Titan said.
Iraq.
I like what Titan said in the chat. I look forward to the day when all of Trump's properties and holdings are auctioned to pay his debts and victims of Trump Tower. Victims and Trump Tower is renamed. The day it comes down. It's gonna be like America's Berlin Wall.
We need to get a new cut of Home Alone 2. We need to just slice that one little scene out, and everything else can stay the same. The pigeon lady can stay the same. You know,
the pigeon lady is adorable.
That's why she's gonna be the same.
Yeah, she's great. She stays. So I'm gonna burn through these ones real quick, and then we'll talk about them as a whole, because this is like a little bit war-y stuff. So this is like updates to Ukraine, updates to Russia, Ukraine, updates to Israel, Palestine. So Russia accused of launching drone that hit apartment block in Romania, but Putin demands proof. A drone struck a residential building in Romania, in a city that I can't pronounce, near the Ukraine border, injuring 2 people and triggering a fire after impact, authorities said on Friday. They condemned the strike as irresponsible escalation by Moscow. Russian President Vladimir Putin maintained that there's no evidence that the drone was Russian rather than Ukrainian. Then also, Russian drone hits Chinese ship off of Ukraine before Putin meets Winnie the Pooh. Russian forces attack Ukraine overnight with 524 attack drones, including attacks on a Chinese cargo vessel. And then one more for Israel, which is Netanyahu orders Israeli army to seize 70% of the Gaza Strip, violating the ceasefire deal. Speaking in the West Bank settlement, Israeli PM, who is fighting for political survival before election, says we are squeezing Hamas. Because of course, Netanyahu escalates when he's going to fucking lose. You know what I mean? So I feel like discuss. You know what I mean?
70% of the Gaza Strip is not pressing Hamas, right? That's pressing every single man, woman, and child who lives in Gaza. And
he's trying to empty it out.
I want to address a few anti-Palestine talking points I hear from people.
Okay.
First of all, if you think that the Palestinians voted in Hamas, I want you to think about something. That is something that happened decades ago. How would you feel, especially given that many of the people in chat are not old enough to have voted in that election, if someone said that, hey, an election that happened when you were a child or before you were born is the reason I'm now killing your family and setting your house on fire, you'd probably feel like that's some bullshit. So there's that. That's not a good argument. Another one is that I hear is like, oh, well, the Palestinian governments are really, really horrendous to the LGBTQ people. It's like, okay, so your solution to that is to have them murdered by Israel? That's what you think should happen to the LGBTQ people of Gaza? And further, none of the kids were involved in any of that. All of the kids are innocent of all of that. And you might be like, well, what if they grow up to be terrorists? Yeah, we don't do pre-crime here. That's it.
It feels like that every time, a ceasefire happens, this fucking asshole Netanyahu uses it, to normalize a deeper occupation. That's all he's doing every time a ceasefire happens. He's not holding to the end of his bargain around ceasefire, and no one is holding him accountable. Gaza is already damaged and struggling with clean water, sanitation, health services, and a shrinking civilian space. Let's talk about population also. It's already a disaster happening, and this guy just doesn't care, and nobody is holding him accountable. Where the fuck is UN? Sorry.
We talked about that last month. Canada, France, and so the Canada, France, and was it the UK? It's called the Coalition of the Willing or something, which is part of supporting Ukraine, and Canada I believe the UK signed onto it. I believe France has signed onto it. I don't think Australia has signed onto it yet, but they've been actively talking about Palestine instead of this Hamas versus the IDF situation. They've shifted the narrative and the way they're approaching the situation into a humanitarian crisis. And I do think that that is a far better approach, including in discussion. Like, I agree with Dapper's points about argumentation online. However, when it comes to politics and those argumentations and like how you want to argue specific like the specifics about what's going on, I think readdressing Palestine as instead of a two groups in power struggle, which it is really not, because it's like it's not quite the way. This is not balanced in a way that makes any real sense in the first place. It's like a non-starter. You're a little bit better off to focus on this being what Maanyaa was getting at, being like the size is shrinking. There's literally nothing for Israel to even really get out of this besides the land itself and the genocide, because that seems to be the thing that they're interested in. And the only reason they're really interested in that is most of the people in Israel aren't even really interested in this. This is just something Netanyahu is using to stay in power. Right? And so if you shift it into a humanitarian crisis and you start talking about, well, like Dapper said, well, the children didn't do anything. They didn't vote for this. And there's starvation going on. And there's, you can even leave out like the war crime part. And instead of calling it a war crime, you just talk about it as if it's a humanitarian crisis, which it is. Like, it being a war crime is non-consequent. Like, that's not independent. And if you focus it that way, you shift the entire conversation into like a far more like, instead of a them versus them situation where, oh, well, everybody's bad, Hamas did bad things, and the IDF did bad things, you shift the whole thing into, okay, but we don't do this. This is not like an acceptable thing because of, not the war part, but the humanitarian crisis issue.
I want to answer Maanya's question, where's the UN? And the answer is that the only part of the UN that really has any actual power is the Security Council. And the problem with that is that there are permanent members of the Security Council, of which the United States is one of them. And any time that any permanent member of the Security Council votes against a resolution in the Security Council, it is defeated, regardless of whether or not it might have had otherwise like unanimous consent. And so the U.S. consistently votes against anything that does anything to sanction or limit or otherwise punish Israel, no matter what. And Maanyaa, I think you're muted.
And no, she's not. Keep in mind that oh, maybe you are. You were showing, but then you stopped.
I can't hear her.
Yeah, we can't hear you. The other thing too is that keep in mind that Netanyahu is a war criminal and has been decidedly, and he's supposed to be arrested. And he's hiding in his own country, or he's only going to countries that are willing to host him because everywhere else is going to arrest him on the spot as soon as he touches soil. Landon, you got something?
And it's also the thing. One of the other problems is that the
hello.
You did not need to yell into your fucking microphone in your mouth to decide whether or not you were muted. Go ahead, Landon.
Thank you, Maanyaa, and thank you, Jess. So one of the problems is that the way the Knesset operates, it is virtually impossible for a sitting government to face a vote of no confidence. And if it happens to become, in order, it is impossible for that vote of no confidence to actually succeed. So unlike other parliamentary systems, once the government gets into power, it stays in power until there's an election. The other thing is that because systems like parliamentary systems is common, that they basically devolve into two camps. That sort of is a standard political process. But there's so many parties. Any major party, let's say Labour or Likud, must take on extremist minority parties in order to gain a majority. And the result is you get in a Knesset extremist parties that do extremist things. And it's very hard to hold it accountable, let alone. Now, I know that Netanyahu is desperately trying to avoid prosecution. And as well, but he's probably one of the top 3 war criminals leaders in the world, sadly, and I don't see anything other than a change of an election in Israel and a change of government, and even then you just get another set of extremes on the opposite side. It's a really tragic situation.
So now that we're talking about that depressing thing, and everybody sort of had a little bit of something to say, because we kind of talk about this every month, and it's an ongoing, expansive conversation, and people have adjusted and sort of changed their approach, and sometimes been more aggressive, and sometimes haven't been aggressive enough, or however you, the viewers, decide to interpret what we're talking about. If you have any questions, please feel free to let us know. Or if you want us to discuss anything in particular, please use, if you have anything that you want us to talk about either in like your region or something that you're interested in, please feel free to use the community tab for Debate Hub, because I am in there all the time looking for whatever you guys want to talk about. So please throw that in there and let us know.
And there's many things, because there's a lot of things happening that have nothing to do with North America or Europe that are quite interesting and quite important. So if you want us to talk about one of those things,
absolutely. Next up, well, let's talk about a little bit of better news and some stuff that's a little bit interesting from the science end. Rare long-nosed batfish. Look at it. Look at it like fucking wiggling. Look at it. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Catalog of the Coral City Camera catalog of fishes this morning as a brand new species of fish, number 220 we've never seen before after 6+ years of observing. So they saw a brand new fish in that area. It's not like a new fish as in it we didn't know if the fish existed. It's a new fish as in it doesn't exist in this area. I just wanted to show this.
If they're quite old, it's just new to us.
Yeah. Well, part of it is like coral restoration. And so restoring these areas is bringing fish back that were not there and through the observations. But I really wanted to point this out because I wanted to let you guys know that these cameras exist and you can go like check them out live whenever on YouTube and you can just go find them and watch this shit. Yeah.
Also, I want to say it's not new to science. It is new to this particular spot.
Yes, that's what I meant.
So this is a species that has already been known.
Yeah.
Do you think it might be related? It reminds me of anglerfish. I don't know why.
Well, anglerfish are very, very deep sea fish. So I don't know, but
it's deep sea fish, right?
No, this is a coral reef.
No, this is
coral's not really.
Okay. I might be wrong. Yeah.
You see sunlight coming down, and it's actually.
Yeah, isn't it cool looking? I just thought it was really. I like this guy zooming by, just taking off. You should absolutely check these out when you have free time, or if you want something to throw on in the background, or while you're doing something. You should totally check this shit out.
You should put a
Can you put the link?
Links are in the description. If you guys want me to get together a link. Yeah, well, this is just to yeah. You're looking for like the North City catalog of fishes.
Okay.
That's what you want? Is that what you're asking me for? I want to make sure I know what you're asking for. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I put the Blue Sky link, but I didn't put the link to the actual.
We go.
It's literally live right now. Like, you want me to pull it up? I'll show you guys right this very second. Look at this.
Yeah, look at that.
Nice. Nature for the win.
Look. Turn that sound off.
This is fantastic.
Isn't that cool? Look at that just fucking shit floating around. They just zoom in. Isn't that cool?
All that fish poop.
Fish poop is important.
Yay!
Very important.
That's a better poop to have in the sea than
Well, I figured if I was gonna spend a bunch of time showing you guys shit all day, I figured.
Well said.
Ayo. All right, but there's a link for it in the chat, you guys. I'll add a link to the description later. Also. This one going on, did this load? Okay. Today we sued the Trump administration for deciding not to protect American horseshoe crabs under the Endangered Species Act. Horseshoe crab population has plummeted by more than 70% in recent decades because of over-harvesting, especially from biomedical companies. And horseshoe crabs are super fucking cool, and there's a lot of shit about horseshoe crabs. They're one of the oldest fucking things on the goddamn planet and haven't really changed too much. And so look out for that, but it's good to see that Trump is getting sued for fucking literally everything.
Why do biomedical companies like horseshoe crabs? What's that about?
Their hemolymph has proteins in it that will bind to foreign bacteria and cause them to clump up. The proteins clump up, and then that will precipitate out. And it is a big part of their immune system, but it's also useful for things like diagnosis in medical contexts. And so what's done is horseshoe crabs are harvested, and they're placed sort of upside down in the special rack, and then essentially a catheter is inserted between the segments, between basically the cephalic shield and the abdominal first set of segments, and then an amount that is not at least immediately lethal is drained, and then they're returned to the wild. And for a very long time, it was thought that this was fully recoverable. More recent studies have shown that horseshoe crabs that undergo this procedure actually have a very high mortality rate within the next year or so. And so it is. It turns out it is not an entirely safe and non-lethal procedure to perform on these animals. Also, their hemolymph is a cool milky blue color. So that's interesting.
That's neat.
It's a blue thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
In nature.
So, anyway, I thought that was a little bit interesting. I thought that'd be an interesting lawsuit to just mention and talk about and maybe go through more thoroughly at a later date. And then I had another one, which was...
Hello.
I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna fucking kill you. I swear to God.
I don't know what's going on with this thing. I muted and it just goes off and it just like shuts off. I think so. Maybe it's the battery. I'm sorry, Chish. It won't happen again. I promise.
I don't care that it like has technical issues. I care that you scream into it every time you want to check that it's working.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Bitch.
I'm so sorry.
Don't apologize to me. Apologize to the audience and their fucking ears.
I'm sorry, everyone. Please forgive me. Look at my round.
Your apology
round
is accepted. I hope you were able to get your.
Landon said for everyone else.
By me.
Sorry.
I don't know how to pronounce. I don't know how to pronounce this word.
Trademark Canada.
Atacama.
Atacama. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was going to be a K sound or an S sound.
Atacama.
Chile's Atacama Desert is. Yeah, go for it, Landon. Do it.
It's one of the treasures of the world. If you talk about the great places on the surface of the earth to observe the heavens, Atacama, the outback in Australia, the top of Mauna Kea, and Antarctica would be the top set. And it is a place that Chile actually designated as being it's one of the driest places on earth. It's also, so there's very little water vapor, and it's high altitude.
I thought that was Ben Shapiro's wife.
I said one of the.
Ha.
Okay, she's another one. Got it.
And so some of the most important ground-based observatories are in Atacama. I've had the pleasure of being there several times. It's a really good place to climatize for high altitude when you're on your way down to the South Pole. But it is sadly a place where the previous Chilean governments designated this as a sanctuary, and in particular to try to protect it also from light pollution. Unfortunately, there are new government people that say, "Oh, we can do mining and in the mining, do it 24 hours a day and turn on the lights," and it's getting to be a bit of a problem.
And that's what the article is about. And one of the reasons why I say that these are a little bit more good news than bad news is a lot of these things, for a lot of stuff that's going on, I think people feel like there's not a whole lot that they can do about it and it feels out of their hands. These things are easily rectifiable issues that can be fixed, that as long as you're aware about them, you can do something. You can share the information, you can talk to people. These are things you can do something about. We can make do shit about this. So don't feel like as much as things are very overwhelming for sort of everybody right now, these are things that we can do stuff about. Another one
talks about the problems there, what it means for astronomy, things like I've talked about the Very-Rubin telescope, the great set of 4 major observatories, lots of things in microwave. There's a lot of important stuff that we're learning about in that area, and calling attention to what some of the mining companies are doing that they shouldn't be doing. Hopefully will help the Chilean government, because Chilean government does benefit. Indigenous people in the area benefit from this thing there, because the people pay a lot of money to be able to put telescopes there and then basically not develop and not destroy the environment as a result. So we need to hold the mining people accountable and to have them be nicer to their optical neighbors.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, and last up is massive Alaska mega tsunami was second largest ever recorded from May 6th. So here's a cool picture. The largest ever
recorded was also in Alaska, by the way.
Yes.
Massive mega tsunami wave created when part of an Alaskan mountain crumbled into the sea is the second tallest ever recorded and reminder of the risk posed by melting glaciers, says science. Last summer, a giant wave swept through the remote fjord in southeast Alaska, leaving destruction in its wake. The event went largely unreported at the time, but a new scientific analysis shows that it was caused by a massive landslide. An incredibly 64 million cubic meters of rock.
I mean, that's about like 10 Kilia episode fountains worth of rock.
I would make fun of Americans for measuring things in literally anything but actual measurements when it says the equivalent of 24 Great Pyramids, but this is a BBC article. What the fuck are you guys doing?
Well, they also gave you a real measurement.
They did. They give us a real measurement first. And then tried to give us a sense of relative scale. Yeah.
So the thing is, like, not many people have a great sense of what a cubic meter is, even though it's pretty easy to picture if you really think about it.
Yes.
Let alone 64 million of them.
Right, like 64 million. It's an incomprehensible number, so I'm not going to blame anyone for needing something. But people have seen pictures of people near the Great Pyramids, and okay, I get that.
Bigly. I'm mostly just giving them a hard time. Like I think doing this and then giving a relative size is different than just saying, 200,000 camels.
April Van Ryn says something, and I want to talk about it for a second. It says, mountain crumbles, massive tsunami, nobody notices. Here's the thing. Alaska is so sparsely populated. It is Alaska on its own is similar in size to just like Europe.
If a bear shits in the woods.
And there's so few people there.
It's probably in Alaska.
Most of the places have no one. Well,
Canada.
And no one is looking at most of it at any given time because just no one is there. No one lives there. So yeah, a mountain can crumble and a tsunami can happen in Alaska and literally no one will notice for potentially years. It's not the first time this has happened, by the way.
An incredible 64 million cubic meters of rock, the equivalent of 24 Great Pyramids, splashed into the water below. The sheer power of that amount of rock plunging into the fjord is in under a minute, created a gigantic wave almost 500 meters tall. So it happened early in the hours in the morning, but I do want to say that this is likely caused by a Dungeons and Dragons party. The rocks fell and the party died.
Yeah, but at least there were at least no rocks were injured because those big birds have to be protected. They're very precious.
Yeah, they're probably endangered, quite frankly.
Yeah, I mean, when your main food source is elephants, yeah, probably.
Yeah, elephants and dragons, and well, I guess that's more of a competitor than an actual
cattle.
thing.
Sometimes they eat cattle.
I think that rocks probably attack Tarask, quite frankly. That's why Tarask has the spines, but they attack in a group.
I think coastal rocks attack whales.
That was everything that we had for today. Thank you so much for joining us. What do you guys got any thoughts or last words?
Well, I would say that. Go ahead,
go for it.
Go ahead, Deborah. I'll wait.
I was gonna say, I have absolutely no sympathy for Tulsi Gabbard's husband or for Pam Bondi for that matter. ICE must be abolished, and then I'll shut up.
Go ahead, Landon, and then we'll let Maanyaa go, and then I'll go.
So certainly stay tuned for the 29th winners of the 29th International Office Seed Code Contest being announced on June 6th at 11 Pacific. Danny Innes is working hard on the show, getting that going forward, and we will look forward to being able to push the source code out at the end of the show, so that people can enjoy it. So that's there. There's lots of cool things going on in the universe. Astronomy is being puzzled by lots of fun things out in the universe, because the universe is a very puzzling place. We know a lot, but there's a lot more out there that we don't know, and there's a lot of stuff out there that we don't know, which is why astronomy is fun. Meanwhile, enjoy yourself. And if you can make the world a little bit better place in your local area, little bits of effort are what can make a big difference, right? You don't have to be do a giant thing. Little bits of making things better for us all would be appreciated.
Go ahead, Maanyaa. What do you
got? Testing 1 2 3. I'm not screaming into my microphone. Yeah. Okay. Cool. My point is, whatever your the websites are, like your EPA, Environmental Protection Authority websites, if there are any new like data centers coming up or any new industries coming up around you, please be on the notice about them. Go to your EPA website and see what tools you can use to be aware about how they are going to affect you. It's very important, because before you know it, these things come in and they take over your water, your electricity. You have more power cuts. Even your schools, they lose resources because of them, because all the money is diverted to cater for these morons and their repairs and maintenance and stuff. So please be aware of that. That's very important.
They're
especially
a massive
in
drain.
Isolated and rural communities where there's a lot of farmland, because that's what these people target, because they think that these people will not be able to get help and access to information to come back and counter
Everything that they tried to tell you about windmills is true about the data centers.
Exactly.
Funny that.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for supporting us monetarily. If you cannot support us monetarily, thank you so much for liking, sharing, subscribing, leaving a comment, letting your friends know if you saw a topic that you think your friend would be interested in. Please, by all means, share this around. It's greatly appreciated. It super helps the channel. Please give us a rewatch if you can, and make sure to check out the videos. This thing is entirely funded by you guys. You'll notice that no ads have played. And there's no ads at the beginning and there are no ads on this channel. There's no sponsors to this channel. This is entirely funded and run and sponsored by you guys. I greatly appreciate it. If you want this show to keep going, you want to join us, you want to have more conversations, you want to have more debates in a non-toxic environment where there's actually productive conversations going on. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate all of you.
And put in the comment below, or when the show goes live, a comment, because that helps.
Absolutely, yes.
Also,
rewatches,
and
anything
the comment
like that,
you can do is say, "Hey, you should talk about blah," right?
Please, yes, by all means.
Why aren't you covering what's happening in Fiji? Why haven't you been covering in Nigeria?
I can only do so much. Please send me stuff. The more stuff you send me, the more stuff we can try to cover. If you want to see this show,
the channel.
Yeah. And if you want to see us do this kind of a show more, or I bring different guests on and we do 2 debate pubs, the more support and the more shit you send me, the more likely that's going to be able to happen. Thank you so much for joining me and us. We're going to get on out of here. I pressed the wrong button. Fuck, ass, shit. It's fine. No, that's wrong too.
Oh, no.
No, God, no, shit. Bye.